Good morning and welcome to today's live show. Today we get the FOMC, so it's the big day. I mean, a lot of people have been paying attention to this day for about a month. I know we've been talking about it, but something that I wanted to just say thank you to you guys for is we are getting closer and closer to 10K. We were trying to hit 10K by Christmas. We are on our way there, and that's because you guys like these videos and get them to see more people, so we can hopefully help some people understand how to use these indicators and how to understand the risk of when the timing of taking things, when things like to pull back, when they want to go up. And this is where you can just pull out on the SPY to a daily and say, well, what are we overall doing? We're moving sideways, which was something that we said a few days ago. We're more likely to move sideways in this consolidation. You see that 20 starting to catch up. We're seeing a little bit of room here on the Bollinger Band spreading out a little bit above our weekly expected move. So we're going to be paying attention to that. As we go into a 2-hour, we can see that if that would just curl up today, hey, early on in the day, that would be a good sign. Most likely we are going to keep consolidating or see some kind of fake out move before the FOMC. We'll see if that takes place. If this 30-minute does curl up, it would lead towards positivity. But remember, once we do get that news, that could be a problem. We have a big range for the day. Make sure you get your daily expected move. 609.03 to the upside, 599.55. To the downside, Tesla is roasted. We'll go look at that in a second. So get these on your charts. They will be helpful for today as we have some more implied volatility. More implied volatility as well in the Qs. I think it was around 20%, so pretty good. 541.53. This is when you want to pay attention, when you see a move outside of a weekly. When you get a daily outside of a weekly, hey, you see how we can turn up, but you see how that could end up being a problem later on. And we're still looking for this right over here, all right? That's all I'm looking for is something like this right over here. We were looking for it right here. We gap up and get rid of it. We do not confirm it again here, so we should not be caught up in it and just realize, hey, this market is bullish. It can keep going higher. More just paying attention to the timing for a bigger pullback, not necessarily trying to take some kind of massive short position at this moment. Mostly just sitting in cash. As we look, I wanted to point something out real quick, and that was MSTR. MSTR, I really wanted to point this out because I was looking at this morning. Now, obviously, in the shorter time frames, we can remain in this consolidation. But for the most part, when I look at this and I just look at the daily and I see, hey, that's crossed down. Hey, if that crosses back up, that'd be good. But I want you to look how bad this bar looks. Closing below a lot of things here, and this is starting to make me go, okay, if this isn't able to bounce off this 20 again right here, we might be in trouble because the 4-hour has just crossed. So you have to treat this crossover very seriously and then see if it's able to save itself at some point. So I just want you to be aware that that is crossing over on the 4-hour with some big selling throughout the last couple of trading sessions, and we're just noticing how close that is to negative territory. What that overall means is, well, this could all be a flag. We could end up, if you make a similar type of move, you actually could end up all the way down towards here, which leads you towards something like a gap fill around 226, 225. I just wanted you to be aware of that. Now, there is a bullish and bearish case. Right now, the bearish case is the likely one because this 4-hour is turned down, but it's not negative, so you might have time to buy yourself back up. The way that we know that this is going to go better to the upside is you're building a ton of liquidity in here. If that daily can confirm up, hey, you got yourself another move, but right now, I'm not really liking the look from MicroStrategy. Now, we know they're holding a ton of Bitcoin. That is the only reason that this stock is up, because they say Bitcoin, they say they buy Bitcoin, they buy more Bitcoin, and people buy MSTR. The thing with that is that you need to understand is if you buy a share of MSTR, it's like a third of, say, Bitcoin, right? It's kind of like, or a fourth. It's like, okay, I'm investing in a company because they are investing in Bitcoin. Wouldn't I just want to see what Bitcoin looks like? And I'll probably benefit more from that. That's for the most part what's taking place, because this is just euphoria because people think that Bitcoin will go up and up and up. But Bitcoin will go through a breather period, and you do have signals of that right now. If this daily does cross, look how close it is to the center line. This is when we pay attention. The first move can spread out that Bollinger. If that crosses down, bad. If it doesn't cross down, great. More positivity. We hope for positivity for Bitcoin. I am not a Bitcoin hater. I am just someone who's stating MicroStrategy is showing a big drop. MicroStrategy is showing a big drop. And so we need to be paying attention to what MicroStrategy actually makes them good, and that is Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does cross down here, I want you to take it very seriously because that is a dramatic divergence if that crosses down. Like I said, that hasn't happened yet. I'm giving you something to possibly react to. All right. But here's the thing. And I said this over the weekend. I'm going to say it again. If Bitcoin goes down, MicroStrategy will suffer pretty dramatically, just so you're aware. That's the whole reason that stock is up. Not the biggest fan of the owner of that company, but I'm trying to just look at the chart and prove, hey, yes, this can head in the upward direction. MicroStrategy has pulled back on the daily. It's at the 20, so if it curls up, that would be an opportunity for upside. We'll just pay attention to it going forward. Something pretty interesting today is going to be how things react with FOMC. Really, you can just see how sideways we are going. And so I just really want to be paying attention to how do we look before FOMC? What are we confirming right after? What are we confirming after the talk, right? It's not just FOMC, then we're done. It's FOMC, with the future projections is probably important. So we're going to get the most likely a 0.25 basis point rate cut. And then after that, we're going to be like, okay, what's the forward projection? All right. And then after that, we get the talk. And you can see things go back and forth a lot during that time. And we have a pretty good amount of implied volatility. So there might be some confusion in that hour of the day. So just be ready for that. Be ready to manage risk, get back into plays if things confirm down and confirm back up. Bradley, it is cold out for you indeed. It is cold over here, and I do not like the cold. I am not a fan. One thing that's found that base was IWM. Now, we were talking a little bit about IWM. I'm just going to look at the futures because some of my charts aren't loading the pre-market moves. Great move so far above the 5. So this is where we actually can project higher if we get that participation back in the market. I think it's like 70% of stocks or something like that are below the 20-day moving average. And that's kind of interesting to me because this has been such a bullish run, but it just means that everyone's piling in at the same time to Tesla, to Amazon, to not necessarily Nvidia, but you would say Meta, Microsoft, Google. And what do we notice from these stocks? Well, they have some reversal signals. Now, let's look at Google because this is one that I was really paying attention to. Now, have we done the thing? Well, yes, you have. You have confirmed below those moving averages. You have confirmed below the 9. You've crossed over your MACD. You've even gone below the center line for the RSI. So this is saying weakness can be here. The only problem is the 5 is there. And what happens a lot of the time with these moves? Well, we keep going to the 5 and gravitating higher. So if we wanted to get tighter here, I would be doing something like this, just connecting these little levels right here, and then seeing if this actually makes another move like this and doesn't actually go to that trend line, because that can actually show a little bit more weakness if you're not able to retest the trend again with the high. And then we'll see if that creates some kind of divergence here. I think this would be a great hint. If we're just going to head in the downward direction, then we're most likely going to see a 2-hour be able to confirm below the 5-day moving average. And I think Google would be a good hint. I think Microsoft would be a good hint because you made a double top signal here and you were able to hold the divergence. So do you see how this is a little bit different? The previous point, you're not taking that out and you have rejected from it on the RSI, saying that that is a potential confirmation. Now you're actually turning down. So if this is going to be a double top, okay, we're going to lose that 5, we're going to cross down, go negative, and the 2-hour is going to fail this cross up, okay? If we're going to head higher, then we can pay attention to cup and handle that then projects you higher. All right, if we were able to do that, we most likely will get rid of this divergence right here. So that's something I'll be paying attention to throughout the day. Another thing that I was paying attention to, still looking at AMD, seeing if that can curl up on a 30-minute today. AMD is saying, hey, I want to participate here. I want to get some kind of better 2-hour bounce, maybe to go up towards something like 130, 136, maybe even to get to our zone. And something we'll pay attention to with this is lower highs. We will pay attention to lower highs. That will be very, very important. Now, as we are looking at NVIDIA, the way that this could turn itself around, one, you're going to the breakdown area right away in the morning. We can see where we kind of created a couple of floors here. We retest this area. Hey, it's right at our 135, so I'd be paying close attention to that. If the 2-hour does turn up, it says, hey, we can go up for a little while. The time where I want to get bullish again, and I'm going to get rid of all these lines, by the way, because that flag really broke down. We found out which head and shoulders slightly played out. And we went down to our 127.74. That's fantastic. It's all good stuff. It's stuff we were expecting. But the 2-hour here bouncing is also what we were expecting. Now we have to be open to the fact that this move can fail. This is very deep into negative territory. The way that you know, like, hey, this is more bullish than a lower high, right? Maybe we're going to go through this trend for a moment, is if the daily crosses up. Now that can take some time, right? But you can see how if NVIDIA started to participate, it's been lagging behind. It can force the market to head higher, even as some stocks do pull back. So we'll pay attention to if that daily can cross up. Right now, we'll be paying attention to, hey, does the 2-hour cross? Does the 2-hour actually see that extended move? And does it fail? That's going to be something pretty important. I do not believe it will go below 125 this week, barring, a flush of selling, like if something in the system, some kind of black swan necessarily happens. This is a lot of positivity. So to drop by, I don't know where you're at even right now, in a few days, 6%, 6.5% in a few days, say, give or take, it would be a lot. That would be a dramatic reaction. Now we've seen stocks go up dramatically for a long time, and they're in need of a big daily pullback. And we talked about the waterfall of selling that can come in. So I don't want to say it's not possible, because you can start to see moves like boom, 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 and then you're done, right? It could just be a big 4-day push down, and then you end up making reversal signals in some way. So can it happen? Yes. Is it likely to happen to close below 125? No, that would take you outside of your 68% zone. So I'm immediately inclined to go with the bigger percentage. Even though I have my own feelings and things like that, thoughts towards it, I still have to take into consideration that 68% zone I have. That's why I utilize them. I would trust that more than my thinking, because my thinking might have bias. But the options data is just calculated with real numbers. So do I trust math or do I trust my thinking? You know what I'm saying? No, VIX play was sold. VIX play was sold. I sold my VIX play yesterday. So I sold my VIX play once I started to see this forming. So right as we started to go negative, I really just had a gut feeling, right? I follow my gut sometimes, and I took a little bit of profit because this was overall just showing, hey, we could start to tap out. I was seeing divergence in a few other areas from like AMD and things like that. Even though I think this could scale up, I still think we have the opportunity to head higher for one more push. And the reason for that is because we're reconnecting, we're moving sideways with the 20 right below us. And the thing that causes me to believe this is people usually hear rate cut and they think good. So I'm just reading into this. And the way that I'm doing this is I'm just saying, hey, even if I lose, like not necessarily lose, but even if VIX pops dramatically, at my risk is 0, right? I'm following good habits. Good habits as a trader. If I have this inclination, if I'm not comfortable with the trade anymore, I can get out of the play, I can look for signals again, and I can take a different one. That's how I want to treat it going forward with this bullish move. I don't necessarily want to short a bunch, right? That's why I'm getting rid of volatility. This is a very, very, very bullish move. So any inclination I have to get out of a bearish hold, I'm going to get out. And you saw that even with NVIDIA to the bull side, right? NVIDIA to the bull side, my NVIDIA trade last week to the bull side, nice little 70, I think it was 70% gain. It's like, okay, but I'm getting out of that. Why am I getting out of that? I put out a whole video on Patreon and even talked about it on YouTube to discuss like, hey, I'm getting out of this for XYZ reasons. And that's just because, and I ended up being right. And I'm glad I followed my gut there. And I was looking at signals right, where was it? It was right here, right before the gap down. And I said, hey, do I take the 70% or do I risk the fact that we're not above the 5? Do I risk the fact that I'm seeing some 30-minute divergences at this time? Do I risk all that? Or do I just say, hey, let me just take the 70%, let this do whatever it wants, look for the next setup? Microsoft taking a hit today. Yeah, you have 30-minute divergence above you. Just know this can change a lot by the time the event takes place, but this is really, really bad. That is not a good sign. So if that would, that is flushing actually right now. Now we'll see. right now that is 1.26%. We're just slowly seeing it come down. That's why I'm saying it's kind of flushing. But the 2 hour is rejecting and crossing down. The big confirmation here is going to be your 2 hour because you have a pretty big event today. So you want a pretty good confirmation. That would be a 2 hour chart. You have the opportunity where this could go down, down, down for an hour and a half, and then just whip back up and get rid of that signal. Right? So we want to pay attention to the fact that that can happen. We still are looking for this type of look or this type of look right now. And the confirmation of this type of look, you're getting it right now, but look how much room you have to go to the center line. So I think the way you really get bearish on a 30-minute is if you cleanly keep going below that level right there. Because you'll see that would be something different, right? This high, we actually didn't even go test it fully, right? Not the actual total top there. But you're noticing in this run, we have a low, a higher low, higher low, shit, even almost higher low, higher low, higher low. So I need to break that series of higher lows to start to create the lower highs, right? So if this doesn't cleanly break, if we wick below it and then come back up, it could just take out stops at this level, end up going in the upward direction, and then failing later on with another trap. It could just keep going and not do any of the turn down over here. So I'm just paying attention to if it can create a new low below the 5-day moving average and then reject off of the 5-day, right? I'm looking for the opposite of this to start. Then so I don't even have to play the first drop. I could see the first drop, see that react up, test the breakdown area, see that 5 staggering across, right? And then see it touch that. And if it curls down again, I go, okay, that's heading to my buy zone down towards 430, right? I don't have to short every single signal, especially when the trend, overall, look at this thing. That's super bullish. So the easier play is to just let this thing play out however it wants, let it play out however it wants, and then see that move to the upside or see it go sideways, right? Let that 20 catch up, keep doing this, and then boom, react up. And then I go, okay, now I'm watching out for those signals that we were going to talk about for January of 2025. NVIDIA, nice move, going straight up to 135. Please do Tesla. Yeah, we can look over at Tesla real quick. So Tesla, there's not a lot of problems here, to be totally honest with Tesla. Now, the only problem you have is I was just in a live show yesterday. I like to put on some noise. You guys know I have ADHD, so it helps to have just people talking. And people were talking about stuff, and someone mentioned Tesla. And they kept saying, man, do I get rid of this or does it go higher? Man, do I get rid of this? And then, so I typed in the chat and I said, well, what was the overall goal with the trade? And they're like, oh, it was to make X amount of money. And I'm like, did you make X amount of money? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell someone what to do. But if you think of it that way, you're like, what is my goal for this trade? Well, my goal is to take Tesla out a curl up right here and play that for maybe a 2-week expiration. But once that hits a weekly expected move, or once that makes an amount of money that I like, I can get out of the play. But you notice the mentality of people now. Notice the mentality of people now. That is a big thing to understand. Now you have people who see a stock that has gone like this and they have completed their goal and they still want to hold on to it. That is a sign of greediness. That is a sign of greediness. That is what we want to pay attention to. It means we're probably getting close to where Tesla is going to throw up for a sec. Everyone will talk crap on it, but you know this. Look how high up that daily MACD is. Even if this thing wanted to go all the way back down to 326, it still, even with rapid selling, most likely would not be negative. Because this push right here was just this for the MACD. Isn't that crazy? So if you give up all of that when you cross over, you're going to end up down towards like a reading of 1235 here. You're not even going to be close to that center line, right? You might even be just like this. That's kind of wild to think about, isn't it? Now, if it takes more time, this can leak down, leak down, leak down, and then cross up, right? If it goes like this, takes its time, gets a little flag, takes its time, does that, takes time with it, that's when you really get down by the center line, actually. So for Tesla, I'm just keeping you aware of some people's mentality for Tesla right now, and it is Tesla can't stop. Tesla won't stop. It won't stop. I'm not saying it has to stop. I'm talking about risk, reward. The risk is I'm at top Bollinger. Look where the bottom Bollinger is. 291.43. 291.43. So if you get a big, and that's worst case right now, right? That would be worst case, right? That would kind of be, you know, when you look at Bollinger that's spread out after a big move, that would be almost like worst case scenario. So I'm still more leaning towards 350, like that 350 area. This little block in here is what I'll be paying attention to, the top of the top half of this block. But that's what I'd be really watching for Tesla. Now, we can read into the shorter time frames because this is going to be very, very difficult to short. I know you guys want to catch that flush, but know this, I am not trying to catch this flush. I am not trying to short Tesla. I am not going to bet against something that's going parabolic. Because you know it could happen here. I have no 30-minute divergence. So this could just end up going down to the 5, turning back up, and then you go, oh crap, now it's bullish again. I'm going to get overly bullish, and then people will be like, yeah, I was right, and boom. Then you actually see a very clean divergence outside of a weekly expected move, and you have better information in your head now that you can go, okay, the risk here is high. The risk to upside is high. The risk for a drop is high now. So I can take the profit. I can wait for the 2 hour. So the 30-minute doesn't have divergence. The 2 hour doesn't have divergence. So even if this wanted to curl down, it does not have to curl down the daily. You could just do this and then curl right back up. So am I going to bet against that? Hell no, man. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. And if this wants to do that 2 hour move, 30-minute move first, 2 hour move down, 2 hour move up, and then come back down, that is when I will take the opportunity. Notice how much patience I'm going to have. Now, because we are at extremely high levels, I could try to short this, but I'm just saying I'm not going to risk it on this one. It's very, very bullish, right? Even the 30-minute, I'm not even saying the 30-minute looks bearish at all. And then, like, here's the thing. Everyone's talking about 500. Well, what if you go touch 500 and then you drop? I'm saying we can get past 500. I'm not being bearish. I'm saying this needs a pullback. This is a parabolic move. I'm looking for the opportunity to get very bullish. But look at this. If this went like that and then went like that and did the same move, you would go past 500. Like, it's just a matter of time. It's a matter of patience. It's a matter of seeing a good opportunity. This on the daily scale is not a good opportunity anymore. You're about to reach the highest level that we've seen on the RSI since July of 2024. Let's see how that played out. Well, what did we see? A big parabolic move. Shortly afterward, what happened? Let's see. Let's see how long it took to find that base. 33% in a month. I don't want to be caught up in that. The daily never really curled back up into positive territory, but when it did, what ended up happening? It never reached back down to these levels. It was able to curl up, curl down, go positive, right? So then I can obviously see, okay, this curled up right here very close to the center line. Okay, that's a go. Hey, if I just hold through all this turbulence, we end up seeing higher prices. We end up testing this level. We end up seeing some kind of massive, I would even say, handle into a cup and handle, and then we gap up and boom to the upside, right? So I am not going to get overly bearish unless I see bearish signals, and I do not see them. Sorry. And not necessarily sorry. It's like, hey, there might be another bullish opportunity. That's good. You know the trend. So if we go through something bad and everyone's losing their mind, and then we just curl up a daily, you go, hey, I can put those emotions aside for a sec. What does the momentum say here? Oh, we're curling up. We're pretty positive still. Or we're right by the center line. We can go positive. That means I'm at least going to see a good bounce. I still have to be aware of lower high, but I want to get bullish on the stock because this is a positive curl up on the daily time frame into positive territory. That's what I'm looking for. BTC dropping. Now, I did say I was going to keep you guys aware of what's going on with GME. So yesterday's video, I just showed off at the end a little bit how the short seller volume was not up for GME. And I said, I expect that to be up now because you are at 30.59. It already was up for AMC, and I'm going to tell you what, it dropped off again, meaning they might think their job is done for something like AMC. This actually would be the perfect time for a news drop because that would cause a surge. GME, this would be the perfect time for a news drop because that would take them off guard because they just started fighting the stock. If you want that update, we can pull that up real quick. Look at this. Sorry, I hit my mic. I gotta scoot that back a little bit. And the reason we can look around at stuff is because I know that things are gonna move throughout. But here's your GME short sale volume. See how that ticked up? Okay? See how that's ticking up? That means they're starting to fight the stock. Now, if they've accomplished the goal, you're just gonna see this turn down tomorrow. You're gonna see it go like that most likely. But if you turn down like this and they're not expecting it and they're not fighting the stock anymore, you go, oh, okay, awesome. Well, that's unexpected news. And now they're going to have to. And that's when you can see big moves. So now you know they're fighting the stock. That could be the start of it. GME could keep going up and you could keep seeing this go, right? But we just want to be paying attention. Now, AMC, the reason that this could be done is just because look at that peak. Right? We curled up, we're curling right back down, right? We're for the most part still rejecting below the 200 here too. I know we're doing technicals on this stupid thing, but for what I consider important with this, for my theory, it is when you make these peaks, you have to pay attention because that means, hey, we fight the stock, oh, goal accomplished. Oh, we fight the stock, okay, goal accomplished, right? They're being very tight with it. So I would just keep an eye on it. And I'll keep an eye on that too. But note that now I don't think they want to fight AMC as much. They're more worried about GameStop, which makes total sense because you're seeing something crazy. Now, as GameStop curls down on the 30-minute, when it curls down on the 30-minute, what is likely to happen? A pullback. A pullback in some way. And this area here is important. So you don't mind bundling up a bunch in this area and then seeing a reaction up. You don't mind going all the way down to this 5, retesting it and curling back up by the end of the week, actually. That would be the best scenario. I actually think GameStop, like if it can hold at these levels, you would say this is probably the highest potential you'll see for GameStop to see the move next week. AMC is in a different boat. All right, it is not seeing the craziness. Most likely what you're going to have to see is GME get to something like $40, $50, and then that will really start to affect AMC. Palantir Pop. Palantir Pop, this is another one that I'm like, okay, I'm not shorting this. Look how wonky it looks. Maybe I need to see a more clear signal on the daily. Oh, okay, that's curled down. So I can let the nonsense happen, realize that this is a super bullish move, and realize that that most likely will continue. It means if I start seeing these moves like this get really tight and we're starting to build a bunch in this area, well, you're asking for this or this. What seems more likely in this scenario? This. Is this bearish? Well, you have a bunch of divergence, very wonky. So it's going to be very hard to short. So maybe it would be better for me to look for a breakout area here. Maybe it would be good for me to look, hey, maybe there's a better opportunity. We go all the way down to 59.25. Then we have two things that can happen. We can do this, or we could just do this. And then everyone is trapped in near February, right? So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the opportunity higher, right? Don't get it wrong because I read into the future a little bit more and create those scenarios for myself. Puts a picture in my brain so I'm aware of it. But I just want you to understand, hey, if this even just keeps going sideways like the SPY, and then we see this dip down a little bit and that curls up, hey, that means positivity, and then you watch out for traps. We watch out for traps going into 2025, that's for sure. All right, now let's go over to the SPY and just check things out. Now, something interesting about yesterday, you did violate it, but by the end of the day, ooh, we crossed right back up. And you did make a little divergence down on the RSI. So if this is saying anything from momentum, if this 30-minute is able to curl up, it is saying upside. If this 30-minute curls up, it is saying, hey, the 2-hour can start to move in the upward direction. I wouldn't read into this blip up too much, right? That's a fake out. The next one, ooh, but if we do that, That's going to be the problem for this week. And remember what we said about FOMC in the video last night. FOMC, a lot of the time you'll see a move during or the day after FOMC, and you want to pay attention to what signals are there 48 hours to 72 hours after you see the first move. All right. I think that's just something to be aware of. Obviously, if this is going to break down, well, we're going to break down. You're going to see the thing from the Qs happen, right? This 2 hour is going to be able to produce a bar that's below and most likely violate a daily expected move today, right? Most likely you're going to see that. If you see that and that closes by the end of the day, not on the last bar of the day, but at the end of the day, I would say barring, away from the last 30 minutes, if we can actually close like that, that would be interesting. But what are we looking for? This right here. And so I'm really liking this 30-minute down by the center line, aren't you? You look at this, we go down to the 5, you see a wick, don't you? Okay, let's see if we can do that soon. All right, let's see what you guys are doing. High yield pains are ahead. HYG, high yield growth. Oh, that's bad. High yield growth. Oh my God, that is really, really bad. Holy crap, we might need to pay attention to that. Let me go look at TLT and the yield, because that would suggest funky things. Junk bonds coming off would suggest pretty bad things. Now, this can take place for a bit of time as well, but that is a daily crossover in the past, right by positive, or right by the center line. Ooh, that is not what you want to see. You get hints of this? Yeah, we got a bunch of hints of this weakness here. But 10-year looks like it wants to drop, so this is interesting. It really looks like there's some wicking in here. 4 hour, we don't really see much, so maybe we get one more push higher. These things will change with that, with the, what's it called, FOMC. Okay, are we making at least like, I don't know, this might be 2. There you go, 30-minute. I was actually looking if I wanted to get into this today. It's just the initial crossover. Because that is definitely there. Now, I like it in the regular trading hours, not adding scam hours or anything. Do we build in this area again? I think you're less likely to build in this area like we did in the past. I think you're more likely to see a reaction in some way. I'm gonna look at the weekly expected moves for this. Let's see, TLT. Okay, you're not even by a weekly expected move. Man, though, if that daily curls up, you're right by the center line. Let me look in the past here. Down, rapid move up. Oh, golly gee willikers. Alright, we'll look for that for TLT in a little bit. We'll see what happens with that bad boy. Because if IW is going to like this, right, IWM showing reversal signals on the 30-minute, very, very clean here. And confirming as of right now, but notice it's rejecting off of the 5, right? We really want to retake that 5 to see if we're going to get that strong 2-hour move higher. A lot can happen before. So even for something like Apple, another 30-minute curl up would make total sense. Obviously, the 2-hour confirming down would be a bad sign. So you're seeing a lot that's like, hey, bad sign, bad sign, bad sign. So it is likely that we can head down from this info right away. Right, the Qs are confirming something here, and the Apple confirms something here. It's just it's above the 5. That's why I'm very hesitant, because it's a very strong move still. days and days of positivity. DIA and IWM have backed off. If they start to participate, that can help things out. So we'll see. I'd really like to see the 30-minute push higher first. And let me go over here. Okay. If we can, something interesting. Sorry, I'm gonna look at something here. Yeah, and one thing about TLT, it is outside of a monthly, and it's well outside of a monthly, just FYI. Really want to see what I can do here. Alrighty. Interesting. Here, actually, let me look at this. Yeah, kind of looking like a double top, possibly. Maybe they might back off. That could go here. Okay. All right, solid. I'm gonna look over at this real quick, and then I'll get back to the chat, guys. Sorry about this. I gotta look through some stuff. Okay, that hasn't confirmed yet. Alrighty, looking at the SPY, we notice what? Well, that divergence has something to say as of right now. We're seeing positivity. So that's that little tiny divergence in here can make that positivity, right? If I want to go into a 15, you're going to see what? Oh, there's the divergence right there. Same time, same time. It's just, I don't like 15 minutes. I want to make sure the 30-minute is confirming it. Then I shouldn't say, oh, we're going to break through this and everything's going to be good. I know there's an event later today. So if I wanted to, if I had calls on this, hey, this comes up to here, maybe I take one off. It comes up to here, I take two off. And then we see some good news with that. Oh, I take three off, right? 1, 2, 3, let the rest run, and then go, okay, this is now outside of a weekly expected move. We're starting to open up the possibility for 2-hour divergence. We could just see something crazy, but I would not like to be caught up in if this is some kind of rug pull, mainly looking at the cues here, right? If this starts to form, that would convince me to get out of anything to the long side, but I'm not going to hold too much long here. I'm going to look at possibly looking into TLT after the news, right? I want to see what that news says first. Okay, what do you guys want to look at? Oh, yes, HYG is something. Thank you for bringing it up. Like, genuinely, HYG dropping off like that, the market kind of can follow. Like, HYG will lead it a lot of the time, too. So the fact that this never went to a new high is big. The fact that that is just dropping off a cliff is pretty damn big. Built a ton of liquidity. I think your line in the sand here is this right here. Junk bonds not happy. Look at that. It's pretty dope. And if you really look at this, this could just be, right, we say head and shoulders is wonky. Look at this. It still could be just a massive load up of liquidity and then falls to the floor. It's true, Justin. That is very true. Netflix is. Yeah, we can look at Peloton. Let's look at something we don't look at too often. Peloton. Okay, Peloton. Okay, Peloton. 4-hour might be the better one to look at here, weirdly enough. A 4-hour might be good here. Look how clean it is. Right? See, I've seen so much of this, I can be like, all right, the 4-hour is going to be clearer. So if I want to see weakness for the 4-hour, I just want to see, hey, what's the hourly look like? What's the 30-minute look like? Do we have a chance for weakness here? The truth is you do have a chance for weakness here, but you also have the 30-minute that has extended, right? So now that I know, hey, there's weakness for the 4-hour, there's weakness on the daily, right? We see the daily divergence up here that has confirmed. Then we're really thinking this. We've already confirmed the divergence. Now we're making one more push. So really at this level, Peloton should back off. It should, but it doesn't have to. The 2 hour is turned up into positive territory. The 30-minute does not show weakness just yet, and it's a pretty strong move. You just have that flat slightly down for the RSI. So it is very likely to consolidate or go retest the 5, right? Come into that liquidity again and see a pop higher. Why did I start to think Wyckoff right here? But when you would be worried is obvious level right here. That's when you'd be like, okay, a bigger, more downside is most likely there. Most likely when you start to lose, let's see, I need to zoom in more to see the actual bars here. Doing it on a 30-minute, probably a disservice to myself. There's the gap, there's the support, there's the support. And so if you look at this dotted line, you're gonna see where we found support and we couldn't close below. We found some wicks on the left. You're gonna find we have a wick just right here to the left. You're gonna find that if I hold it there again, you have a wick almost coming directly down to it. You're gonna see that you have a, oh, whoops, I need to go right here. You'll see that you are not able to close below it again. You'll see that you are not able to close below it again. So right here is our level for sure. If you start to lose that, it can be a little bit more of a problem. 931. You see a daily close below 931, it is very likely that you're going to head pretty quick, I would say, if you're not able to hold up at 892, all the way down here towards 740 or maybe the 50-day. Now, would that be bearish? Or if this would hold up here and then turn back up, would that be bullish, right? Because this is so positive. You still want to pay attention if that curls up. That could curl up today and none of that plays out. And this just goes boom, higher. Then maybe you go higher for a couple of days and that fails. That's when I'd be paying closer attention. That would be a more significant divergence even here. Okay, good. We're on the same page, Reese. Yeah, I think that's the very obvious level. The only thing that's bad about that level is you have another block below you. So this can be a whole support zone right here. It literally can because you gapped up into it. So I'd be really paying attention to the top side of this and the bottom side, or just whenever I see a 2-hour divergence or a 30-minute divergence in here, I know bounces can happen. We'll see if this actually plays out though. Looks like it might reject. All right, we're getting some good stuff. Oop. Getting some good stuff here from the SPY. Weekly chart, not too worried about coming under 930 for a while. Oh, okay, good. Bullish for 6 months or so. Yeah, so you might just be getting one of those daily pullback moments. You know, like it's still very positive. So you want to point out the divergence. You want to say this could be a bigger drop, and how far away from the center line am I? Do I have bad weekly signals behind it? That's why the SPY and the Qs dropping on the daily would be more significant than, say, you know, Peloton dropping on the daily, because SPY and the Qs have potential to turn down weekly charts. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, one more push higher, you're gonna start to violate some key stuff. As long as you can see that momentum good enough, right? You wanna see that momentum continue. Come on, Tesla, rip. Let's go, Kalani. I'm pumped. Get that thing to rip. Let's go check on Netflix, actually. We're having some fun today. Look at that 30-minute, really close to the center line. Able to take back the 5. If this can curl up, that's first. Second, the 2-hour. All right, the 2-hour is trying to go negative. But here's the thing, where is it? It's still positive. The daily, that is very positive. So you want to pay attention to those positive curl-ups as things are very positive. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be some kind of massive move. We could just go make another point of divergence, right? We could just do this. Boop, take out some stops, then flush. Then we get down into this area. And then if we pull out the daily, you're going to go, oh, okay, that looks nice, because that would maybe reject this cross up, turn back down, and then get by that center line. That's where I'm paying attention to Netflix. That's the drop I'm seeing that could come. But overall, you're moving sideways. So you got to pay attention. In that move, do we confirm divergence? Or in this move, do we confirm the daily up? Because that can keep going, right? We're starting to get tighter on the Bollinger Bands, though. Palantir looking nice. Wolfie, you curl up on a daily. I might have to look at you. Mara giving up a nice move outside of the zone, right? We came out of the zone, we broke back down into it. This is where I'd be looking at a 2-hour chart. Look at Mara on the 2-hour. Well, what can it do? It can confirm this as a strong base. Originally, 30-minute divergence, 2-hour bounce, 2-hour divergence, daily bounce. That's what I'm looking for. All right, let's go look at Tesla again, because that thing is dropping on the 2 hour and starting to build back up. Yeah, no 30-minute signal. I assume this will continue. I assume we're not going to make the move above this level just yet. I think we're going to keep doing this. And then around, what is it, like 1 o'clock, bam. That seems like the scenario to me, is you keep leaking this out. Well, we see this go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, curls up. That's what I'm looking for. But I'm looking for the trap at this point. Tesla's very, very bullish. I'm looking for any traps here. And it's not to take a play. Once again, it's just and this is a way to practice, right? Formulate these scenarios, and we're going to see if this happens. And we're practicing by saying, hey, there's a weekly expected move around this area. If we go up and we make a reversal signal, that's going to be bad. Do we have a reversal signal on the 30-minute or 2 hour outside of a weekly expected move for Tesla? No, we do not. We do not have that on the 30-minute. You do not have it on the 2 hour. So I should assume we are going to create that most likely on the 30-minute first. So yeah, I would just expect this not to see too much rip around moves. It is Tesla, but too much rip around moves before the event. We're probably going to have a little bit of a stagnant morning. You're going to see random moves like this. Notice 135 is the key level. You need to retake that, because that is a breakdown area. Very plain and simple, that's a breakdown area, right? We've gapped through that area right above us before, so it is a very important level. All right, you have to take that back. You have to confirm up the 2 hour. Look at that, the 2 hours trying to confirm. That would say a prolonged bounce can take place. We might see a moment where NVIDIA is able to participate. And AMD is starting to participate. Look at that 2 hours starting to whip back up. Starting to confirm those divergences. Good moves, good moves. And look at this, we're not able to take out and make that new low for Microsoft just yet. So now we can sit down here for a minute, wait till 1 o'clock, turn back up, and you got yourself a little cup and handle. 2 hour might just flip right back up soon. Now, I want to treat this very seriously. The most likely thing is we're going to see a daily pullback. I'm just talking about, hey, do we see a move to take out the stops first? Do we get that euphoric reaction to, we're cutting rates again? Everyone said we might need to pause. They don't care about the inflation data. Oops. They're going to have to cut rates more dramatically. I mean, genuine about that. I mean, if this keeps going up, they have to. Okay, what am I doing? If this keeps going up, they have to, right? And look at that, it's starting to go positive. When did it start to become a real problem? Well, that's where it went positive, right here. A little bit more consolidate, but you're in these moments here where you have those few months where it can be a little wonky, but eventually that's going to take off. Eventually that's going to take off. There's the bottom there. Now you're going positive for unemployment. It's not a good sign. You see, weeklies or monthlies might just be another pullback like this one right here. Another correction. For some stocks, it is showing that. Gosh, look at that rejection. But you have to think of this very clearly. This can still head upward, right? We notice that that's beaten up now on the 2 hour. If that just goes bloop, hey, another upside move. That's when you kind of watch out though. Yeah, that shows dramatic weakness here. Some pretty damn big weakness across the way here. Very, very cool. GameStop as of right now has curled down on the 30-minute. It got a close below the 9, so that would lead towards something like a pullback. If it can remain up here and keep consolidating up here, that is really good. That would be really fucking good. and then inflation. So exactly, they're caught between a rock and a hard place, right? They're stuck. Do you know why they're stuck? Because when I first started making my channel and someone asked me what I think about Jerome Powell, I said, well, he's someone who likes to be the good guy, the one who seems like the good guy, but he's not doing the right moves. The truth is, when you see inflation, you don't want to try to deter a recession. You need the deflationary event to get rid of the inflation. So you need to be more aggressive with the rate hikes initially. You have to be even more aggressive than they were based on where we were at. And that's just what I was critical of, and that was my thinking on it. Oh, sorry, Maurice, did you mention one? No, I just click around on what things are catching my attention today. So if you have something you want me to look at, please go. Well, the largest money printing program in history of the mankind probably didn't help. No. And you have to understand that is the whole... The thing is, this is most... And here's something that I think genuinely about these type of things is, oh, COVID, that big reaction from COVID, it wasn't necessarily part of the timeline, or the reason that COVID happened was to allow them to say, we need to save the market and print money. We need to, right? It was their excuse to make the rich richer. That's what I think. I genuinely think that. I think this is an excuse. I think this was an excuse to make the problem, hey, this thing, we're gonna make it go higher. I'm just being genuine. That's my thinking. It's not provable, right? I can't prove it until one day probably the truth comes out, but that's how I think about it. I think it gave them a reason to cause inflation. I think it was a moment where they fully were trying to control people based on their habits in real life and based on financially. Over time, I think they knew inflation would occur. Right? You can't tell me the Fed didn't know inflation was going to occur if they did these things. Same mistake they made in 2008. Very good thing to point out. Exactly. Now, the funny thing about this time around is they keep telling you they're paying attention to jobs, job reports. But then we see the job reports not necessarily be good, and we trigger the SOM rule, and we see no reaction. We see no real reaction. Truth is, you're probably about to experience unemployment, so the better thing would be, hey, get the pain going now. The better thing would be like, hey guys, yeah, we're going into recession. All right, we can't be printing money anymore. We can't keep, raising that debt ceiling. We can't keep doing the debt. We can't keep paying 3 times. If GDP is 2.4% or whatever, and we need 3 times that in debt in order to produce that number. That's not, just cut it out. Just stop. I think that's really why they're worried about so many cuts in government, because they need to keep spending or else this thing's going to tumble. Big move, then some catastrophic news comes out the day of distribution. I don't know, government is so sus. Wait till, well, what you would say is this, right? So if we look on the daily, here, let's look. Someone look for me real quick. When was the last time we had FOMC? Can someone look at that for me? When was the previous FOMC? I just don't want to click around a bunch and go look for it. There's like 100 of you guys. Someone's got to be able to search it real quick. The last date we got the FOMC. Por favor. COVID liquidity sweep, September 17th. Okay, so September 17th, I'm going to trust you on that, all right? Don't be lying to me. Let's look at September 17th. November 6th or September 17th? Someone clarify. We need like multiple people to tell me real quick, but because if it was September or November 6th, that would be way over here. Okay, November 6th. I think that makes sense, right? They have it once a month. So November 6th. What happened with November 6th? Oh, wait, no, was it? It was November 6th. Okay, well, we'll say it is. Well, notice the euphoria after the election. So that's a bad example. Let's go back to, someone said September 17th. Yeah, that's election. We want to get a different one. That's why I don't want to look at it, Andrew. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, the election. Thank God for the 30-minute divergence down here, right? So September, let's try September 17th. So if you look at September 17th, what ended up happening in that area, that's the first cut, September 17th. Okay, so you'll notice this. September 17th, the initial reaction, not very good, but what happens over time? We go up, right? So that cut is not enough to cause pain, to cause fear, right? So we keep going up, keep the charade going. Then we get the election and say another cut at the same time. Oh, keep it going. All right, here we go. We're heading to the upside. So what do you think happens if we get another small cut? Most likely we keep it going, head to the upside. But the more you keep doing this, the more you add to another pullback. This is why I'm saying more so. If they only cut by 0.25, we most likely continue, see that daily drop, everyone gets fearful, then we end up heading higher. That's my overall assessment of how things are going to play out. We'll see if it goes differently, right? Maybe they come out with a surprise. I think you are going to see a surprise. Not today. I don't think it's today. But I think in the next few months, we are going to see them come out and say, we need to cut rates aggressively. I think that's what's going to happen. But notice that's an I think, so I can pay attention to the signals and see if they prove it. Because how it would prove it is you're going to see major reversal signals at the time when FOMC is going to come out. Or FOMC is going to say, hey, we're going to cut more dramatically because we've accomplished the job. Then you see a surge and then people realize, oh shit, unemployment just ticked up dramatically. That is more what I think. Fall 2007, spring 2008. I might look into that for the weekend. I think that would be great to look at for our weekend video. Yeah, some people are saying, oh, they need to pause here. They can't. They can't. You pause here, everything stops. An emergency rate cut exactly like February of 2008. Greg, thank you. I'm going to go look at that. And that's the thing. That's the crazy part. It's like if they pause, technically it could hold up a little bit, but it's just like if they pause, everything stops. And then once you get a bad reading of data, it's like, oh, the party is kind of over. Yeah, I think you're going to see that again, Terry. I think you're going to see that again, Greg. It's nice to see some people, you know, have looked into it too. So you guys, we can bounce off each other. That's nice. So I appreciate you guys saying that. If someone has a different take, please give us your different take, right? This isn't I don't want this to be an echo chamber, right? I want this to be, if you have a different way of seeing it, please put it out there, all right? No one's going to hate on you for it. The Fed is in a jar of pickles. They're not in a pickle. They're in a whole fucking jar of pickles right now. Yeah, and that's true. Maybe you peak before the emergency cut. So maybe it does. Maybe we do see that peak in January. We start to head down. We base out to go higher before that FOMC says, hey, we're going to cut rates by 0.25, and then you get 0.75 or something like that. Well, in this previous data, you had unemployment going up. You had some of the jobs data coming in a little bit lower. And you had inflation ticking up. So you kind of have two contradicting things. We just need more data. We're going to react to the data, except for when the data could cause turbulence in the market. Then we're going to not react to that. We're going to react to jobs data, but we're not going to react to unemployment going up. Yeah, we're not going to react to the SOM rule that has triggered every single thing all the time, always, every single bad thing. We're not going to do that. No, Laws, he'd be talking about it's okay because the heat of the fire isn't hot enough. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to turn the sprinklers on out front. And then we're going to see if things get better over the next few hours. That's how he would, you know, treat a burning house. Yeah, I'm pretty sure cash is very flammable. All right, what are the Qs doing? See, I think you just sit. I think you just sit. And the thing is, if you're a retail trader, you kind of don't want this to happen initially, because that's during your retail hour. That can get you really excited for something, and then you get the rug pull. Now, if it happens with the event, that's at least maybe an opportunity, right? You want to see if that's actually confirming, but that might be an opportunity for a little trade up to 540, 153, right? But just take, okay. Let's just really, once again, it's always better when we just simplify it. What has happened, like, 90% of the time in 2024, right? I think we've only had 1 month where we closed outside of the monthly expected move. So if I'm outside of this, what are the percentages? Russell, TNA. I like TNA. Yeah, IWM's always good, but if you want a lower price, TNA. If you want one of those bull shares. He said no comment if the market goes down. Well, the thing is, so here's the thing. If government in general, let's just say government is causing a lot of inflation with their spending, and you have someone come in who says, hey, I'm not going to allow that anymore. We're going to trim all of the fat out. That can be very troublesome for markets initially. We had even Biden. Didn't you guys see Biden came out? Who saw Biden come out and apparently say that he doesn't want people in Congress to be able to trade stocks? Did anyone see that? What do you guys think about that? I want to hear your guys' input. At least that was the article I saw. I did not actually see him say it, just to be very clear. But yeah, TNA, I do like it. You can do analysis on IWM if you want, but these track the same. So you're seeing the same 30-minute divergence here. Now it's on the 3x leverage. That's why I say you might want to look at IWM. Is Biden still alive? Those crooks will find a way around it. Yeah, they'll make some nonprofit and have the nonprofit invest in things. Nothing makes me more sick than looking at a politician's nonprofit. Yeah, I'm in the same boat, Sid. I think this. I think if you're in Congress, you should be able to buy before you're in Congress. You should be able to sell while you're in Congress. But you should not be able to buy again while in Congress. That's kind of how I think about it. I'm like, if you already had the assets and you want to hold them long term, that would be very fucked up, I think, to force you to sell all your stock, right? Now, you still might make moves to benefit yourself, but it won't be as drastic as if you can buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell. Now, here's the other thing. I don't think they should be able to do options in any way. Exactly, but I think you want to damper down the benefiting while also keeping it like they are an American citizen. If they invested at this point and they're holding it for X amount of years, you would just say, hey, you can sell at some point, but you can't buy back in or something like that. No, you shouldn't be able to do anything with options if you're in Congress, because that's how they do it, right? They do it with options, so they make infinite amounts of money. What do you think about Goldman Sachs reversing non-farm payrolls down to 1 million jobs? I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, what? How much was the difference in the revision? I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, Sid. If you have the numbers up, how much was the revision? Was it minus what? Oh, it was minus $1 million. Like it was minus 1 million? RTY1. Oh, well, so this is going to be futures. Oh, well, here, let me just go to my RTY here. I think it's down here. Yeah, there you go. So the reason this will look different is because, well, it's going to be a little bit different, but for the most part, the 2 hours should track like the 30-minute. So if I kind of side by side these, we'll do this, pull up IWM, pull up a 30-minute. We'll go like this and go, hey, that's pretty spot on, right? Now, they are going to track a little differently because you're seeing the price action in the morning, but you just know that's confirmed in positive territory. This is still low, right? Now, if you really wanted to on this, you could spread it out a little bit more or wait for the actual real confirmation, say on the 4-hour chart, and you're getting that confirmation as well. But they are going, it's not going to be perfect. Nothing can line up perfectly because of the timing, right? Now, the interesting part is the fact that the futures was able to gap. You don't see that very often, guys. You do not see a gap in futures a ton of the time. Like, look, I still can't see any gaps in here. Like, normally you see the bar. So someone was buying this. Someone was buying this before even the futures opened up. And that's what I'm talking about. We're talking about Congress being able to trade. This stuff should stop. You should not be able to trade when an individual American is not able to trade, in my opinion. I just don't think that that is a level playing field. Yeah, we can revisit GME in a moment, but yeah, for the most part, the 2-hour here is going to match the 30-minute. Now, this is why I still like to use 30-minute, but I can treat this into, hey, the 2 hour is positive now in the futures, so that 30-minute might actually be better than I think right now. Needs a new job. Well, here's the thing, Laws. If you put government in control of something, it will be less efficient. Like, how dumb is it for us, for our Fed, to pay attention to the data, and the data is wrong the first time, what, 75 to 90%, like over 75% of the time, right? 3/4 of the time, we're getting a revision. So it's like, we're gonna use that data to potentially change everyone's lives with the Fed's money moves. I don't like it. I think it's stupid, and I think someone else needs to be in charge of the data. Also, the government has a lot of, we talked about incentive, right, with the trading. The government has a lot of incentive to lie to you initially, right? Why? Because they're able to buy stocks. So if they don't want the stock market to go down just yet, they don't want bad things for Christmas. Right? They want people to spend money for Christmas, spend money for Christmas, spend money for Christmas. You know what would really make people not spend money for Christmas, for Chrysler? It would probably be if the market were to crash in early December. So let's force that thing higher. Then let's force that thing higher. I'm like, genuinely, the only other excuse for this is we're just ignorant. I would still follow IWM the most, NF. I would be following IWM the most, right? Because one key thing, but also TNA, you can look at that for the buy opportunity. So I would be watching this, right? Watching this, maybe even just buying on this though. Because it's 3x leverage, if you see a great signal and this looks like a daily, can see a daily uptrend for a while, it's in positive territory, it's a solid dip, you can go, oh, that looks good. If IWM is showing a 2-hour divergence, I'm gonna get that, right? You can keep it very simple. Oh my gosh, I'm being oblivious to where IWM is. If IWM shows a 2-hour divergence, hey, then I might get it. But what is it showing right now? Not necessarily a 2-hour on the MACD and RSI. You're seeing it on a 30-minute. So you could also say, let me take a chance with that 30 minutes, see if that daily can confirm up, and then I know, okay, now I'm swinging. Yeah. I don't even get me started on government jobs, man. It's just, the reason that government jobs are bad is because they do not produce any money. Any revenue they produce is just garbage. Like, look at even if we look at USPS, we're talking about changing that. Even if we look at IRS, well, we're really adding to that because they need more and more money, so they want to really keep you in check. I'm not Just government jobs produce nothing at the end of the day, no matter what it is. Even if there's one department that produces some positive revenue, some net positive stuff, it's just across the board. If you own 9 McDonald's, or you own 10 McDonald's, 9 of them lose money and 1 of them makes money. Are you going to stay in business? No. All right, let's go look at GME. I know someone was asking about that a second ago. I just want to look at that. The 30-minute still here has crossed, okay? So right away we go, okay, not the moment. But do I have the recipe for success right now, and should I pay attention if that 30-minute whips back up? Daily, trying to cross right now on a negative bar. We don't like to see that. 2-hour crossed up, so we need the daily and the 30-minute with us again. Yeah, we can look at AMD. We can see what's going on with that. That might just be one you want to pay attention to. 1, is the 2-hour confirming up? And 2, is this needing a management of the trade? The key thing here is, are you part of the Patreon? Because if so, you know what is right here. You know what is right here. Right there. All right? You know what's right there if you're part of Patreon. Just going to give you a little hint there. Now, what are we looking for? Well, these 2 hours to start producing. Ultimately, you're looking for the daily to be able to confirm up. Then you're a lot happier, ultimately. But you're looking for, hey, when do I actually get into this? Well, you've seen some rip around kind of stuff happen in here where you're confirming up, confirming back down, confirming up, confirming back down. So it might mean, hey, 1, if I took a longer out option initially, that would be good. Hey, if this 15-minute curls down, I'm out of the play, right? I actually took this play, right? I took this play. That 15-minute rolled over right in negative territory. Right when that little blue line went negative, I go, yeah, I'm getting out for a second. I'm seeing if that can turn back up. It turns back up. I'm not getting back into it just yet because we have a big event today. And we're at the 5. So I'm going to wait, see if that event produces positivity that takes me above the 5, and then maybe I can take a play here for a short period of time. I'm talking about a short period of time. I am taking bullish plays when they're there. I'm not really taking bearish plays. I'm taking bullish plays when they're there because we're in a very positive trend. And then I'm selling pretty quick. I'm just going to be honest. The environment we're in right now, these super rapid upward moves from Tesla, from the Qs in general, I don't trust it, but I will make money out of it quickly, make 50. And you guys know NVIDIA, I took it at 70%. I will make 50% or 30% even. And if I get that gut feeling, if I see us not able to hold the 5, I'm out. But I just want you to see, if this 15-minute crosses over, it means, ooh, downside potential. And all this might be failed breakout. So I want to treat that very seriously. And then if that whips back up, I can maybe make a different decision. If the 30-minute crosses down, crosses back up, I can make a different decision. Nothing burger today. You're not going to see much today in the morning. You're not going to see too much in the morning. The real fireworks are most likely going to start this afternoon. Strong buy on Saks. Hey, that's good. And I'm not saying this is bad, right? I'm saying for the 30-minute, it's bad, right? We know they're fighting the stock now. We know they're paying most attention to GME. So my question is, what's going to run while they're really paying attention to GME? Let's go look at something. They're not paying attention to this guy, and it's trying to make a higher low. Interesting. Maybe I could see that run back up to 1135. Maybe I could see a breakout of this area and start to go up towards 1430. Ooh, get a retest, turn back up. Maybe I start a positive trend here. I'm paying attention to some of these. One of them I'm looking at is Mara as well. SMCI shit the bed, didn't it? Still positive, though. That's kind of good. One of my least favorite stocks now is SMCI. Sorry. I'm with your accountants, SMCI. I'm with your auditing firm that left you. And I'm just waiting for that auditing firm to take a look at NVIDIA. AMC was shorted 2 days ago, more. It had some yesterday, but for the most part, yesterday they were tackling GME. That's how I see it. From the data that I looked at just now, it says, hey, well, this didn't increase here. Oh, we didn't increase on Monday, But by Tuesday, oh, we are increasing. We are really short selling. That's what it looked like to me. Gamma may affect the market more than today. Well, you would say if that is the truth, then maybe the trend does continue until options maybe it's after options expiration, right? I'm genuine. I think we're just seeing one more push up, and then we're going to get a daily pullback, and then I think people will say, "Oh, no Santa rally, oh, stock market crash," and then we're going to turn up again in 2025. You're going to get it. Everyone's waiting. The big money is being smart and waiting. That's why you're going to see this. You're going to see this remain like right in this area for TLT. The yields, you're not going to see this revert anywhere, right? It's just building in this area. We're not going to do much. Now we can see some structure, actually, weirdly enough. We see how this can fall. But we see how it can go higher. Bloop. Yeah, I think you have a 90% chance of a 0.25 cut, so that would most likely signal something. And if they're making the same mistakes, then bond traders will see that, and people will start to, people with good money moves will start to go into TLT. Well, you just want to be patient with it. So here's the thing about volatility. If you're trading volatility, a good thing is to do all of your analysis on the VIX. You can look at VIX 9-day and things like that, but I do like VIX 9-day now. I've looked at it a lot lately. Now, what I want to pay attention to is, does this have a reversal signal? The last time this dropped dramatically, what did we have? Reversal signals, right? We pointed out 30-minute here, drop, oh, and then you get one more sporadic move. You take out the MACD here, but the RSI held it, and that able to produce a low, all right? We had double top 30-minute here. Up here, what'd you have? 2-hour divergence really shut it down. And this, I believe, was with the election. So we had the 30-minute divergence on the SPY here to help us out. But there's 2-hour divergence there. So what do we not have here? We don't have 2-hour divergence yet. So could we go into some kind of pullback mode for volatility for a little while? Yeah, we can see positivity. And then what'd you say about Friday expiration? Ooh, does volatility turn back up? That's what we'll look for. Now we will look for if volatility can break through this level here. I might even connect these levels just to see a good maybe trend going on for now. But what I'm looking for here from volatility is to back off, see that positivity, see a new all-time high in the market, and then, uh-oh, bad things start to happen. That's kind of what I think. But my ultimate assessment here, guys, is I'm really going to start to pay attention to volatility down here, 12.12. That is the plan. We see VIX, right? The VVIX kind of making potentially a double top here, saying the 30 minutes going to reject, right? So 2-hour, that has a chance to keep going down, maybe even fill this gap. We'll see. Let's look at VIX 9-day, a little bit closer. What do you notice from VIX 9-day? Well, we're in some flagging pattern here, right? I wonder if this would line up well. I could be one of those guys who like puts it like this to make it like fit. I'm not going to. So you see how this is going to break down, but I'm just saying we might need to do like a Not seeing it on the RSI just yet. Look at the previous double top. Yeah. Oh, you're so close. You're a little bit above it for the previous double top. Actually, you might have. Think about double top. It could be a hidden divergence at that point. Here you had it. Here you definitely had it. Look how down that was for VVIX. Or I'm sorry, VIX 9-day. Very interesting. Now, VIX 9-day, the daily curled up, so it is rejecting as of right now, but it's still negative. So I'm more so paying attention to this. That's all I'm looking for. I think that would be a great hint. But I think we need to experience a little bit of turbulence in the market to do that. TNA now up 1%. USO up 0.89. Very nice, very nice. And SPY curling up. Yeah, exactly. And I think you have the opportunity to do more of this. Like people might get excited, drop off, turn up, then we do that. Right, that's why we had this drawn out in the thumbnail. That's the most likely thing I saw for upside. The most likely thing for downside was we just go not able to really make a solid move, and then I'd be a little bit more worried. Because this at least would take you a little bit positive, but if you just see a lackluster move and then you just curl down, that's when I'd be worried for downside more. Just the shape of things really is what I'm paying attention to there. So now you probably see that surge up. Now, where you want to be paying attention is if we see that cross up, we keep going and we do that. That can be a trap. Oh, I think everyone forgot. But here's the thing. These things are hard to backtest because this is the first time I've really done that. I just thought it would be very interesting to do. So it is there. It is the annual expected move. So you're right to point out 68% chance to land here. And look at this too. And I think we pointed this out, by the way. The most likely place, the highest probable place to land in December, doesn't have to be, right? It's just a probability, but the highest probable place to land in December is here. So where's December 31st? It's right here. Right there. That green line. That is where you are likely to land. The most likely. Isn't that crazy? How you can kind of formulate that just by saying 68% zone overlapping a 68% zone. Okay, that is the most likely place. But we know 32% chance to see something, you're very, very high up. So I once you do this, you're making like almost a 2 standard deviation move probably for the annual. I'd have to go calculate that real quick. I don't have that on me, but it is leaning towards, hey, we could see a drop for the month. That's more likely, I think, is just to expect something like this. But to say like, hey, I'm expecting, that would be this, by the way. Look at how that would look. That's what you'd have to experience. That means the Fed's going to surprise today. If the Fed surprises today, then you get that probably. Yeah, you get that probably, but yeah, it's very unlikely to see that. NVIDIA, let's go pop over to that real quick because it's seeing some strength. And look at this, the 2-hour is confirming up. And the good part for NVIDIA here for seeing an upside move is actually that this 2 hours confirming up right away. But we already talked about how this could be a trap setup for Friday pretty much, right? So we're just paying attention to it. We don't see weakness in this yet. It's just starting to go positive. Now, we could get a false breakout. So what you want to pay attention to, right? Someone asking, you know, how far up do you think NVIDIA goes? Well, my next line in the sand is 141.12. So that is where I would expect resistance. And then I have a trend line coming down. So I like to connect the highest point with the next one, with the next high, right? I probably could also do this and it would make a lot more sense. Actually, I don't think that makes more sense. I actually think this one makes more sense, weirdly enough. Because your previous high, you would go through stuff to connect these. Yeah, see that? So I actually like this one. Yeah, we can go look at the NQ. It's just a lot of the time you're going to notice the NQ on a 2 hour is a lot like the Qs on a 30-minute. Wow, why'd that have a big ass gap there? Interesting. That's weird. But yeah, you'll just notice, I mean, the 30 minutes just going to be closer, so I would be watching the 30 minute and just know, okay, that means the NQ, or the NQ can head higher. But we can do full analysis on it because it's not going to be exactly the same in any way. It's really not, right? It's not going to be the same. Wait, is this the... Okay, it does have the 100, okay. If that was like the NASDAQ in general, it might be very different, but... NASDAQ 100, so here, if you look at this, it's just like, okay, this can pop down. I have to adjust the rollover. Yeah, I need to probably do that, but I'm not going to do it right now. All I need to do is see, hey, the daily's up really high. We're up at top Bollinger. Look for an, like, right, if I look at any chart like this and I'm going, hey, this is a very bullish trend. Hey, it keeps curling up into positive territory. Let me look for my opportunity. That's all I'm doing, right? If I just really dumb it down, that's what I would be paying attention to. And the age contract is at 223.19. What are we at here? 223.08. So yeah, it probably depends a lot on which futures you're looking at there. AMC turning up. AMC turning up, man. Rejecting, going for the test of 437. Time of the meeting is, you'll get FOMC 2 hours before the close. MU earnings after? Oh, frickin' A. Of course we got an earnings for Micron or whatever. Yeah, I can do a bigger, Jonathan, I can do a bigger assessment of it maybe later. It's just not something I look at all the time, so I'd hate to do you a disservice by fully looking at it. I just know that it's going to follow a lot of what the Qs do. Divergence on the 30-minute for GME with this pop. More want to be paying attention a little tighter because the 30-minute has a room. More want to pay attention if this 15-minute curls up. You see a blip up here, take out some stops, and then you curl back down. That's what I'd be watching. But you're building liquidity. This is great for GameStop. It is. It's genuinely good. Ooh, a little rough that... Oh, that's interesting. It looks the same. They look almost the same. Kind of crazy, right? Yeah, I'd be paying attention to this 15 a little bit more, but just know they do not, obviously they do not want to get back to this level with that wick, so they do not want to cross above this. I think it's $32 is the ultimate thing. Like, they do not want to get through $32 this week. AMD, please, liked your call yesterday. Yeah, we can go look at AMD. Yeah, we'll look back at this in a little bit. AMD, once again, not curling down on the 15, so I have no reason to believe this has to drop yet. Not curling down on a 30, I have no reason to believe that. The higher probable thing is the 2 hour is going to catch that bounce, right? We want to see if that proves by taking back the 5. So if the 15-minute rolls first, that is where I would manage. If it curls back up, I can make a different decision. And that's all I'd be really watching right now. It looks like retest, retest, retest. Can't imagine anyone still trading AMD. I tried for it. I really did. I tried for it. I tried for it. I tried for it. And then I made the decision. I made 2% on my AMD trade. And I went, man, I hate this stock so much. And then I went, yeah, fuck this. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to lie. I literally was like, I'm not trading AMD. I haven't traded it for 6 months. Holy crap, that's a great signal. Let's do this. Fails. I'm like, yeah, no. Even if this thing goes up and I was right, you know, nope. I will take my 2% and I will look for TLT. I will look for oil again. I will look for all those kinds of things because look at my oil play. Like I'm feeling good. I'm not necessarily feeling bad about oil. Now I have to pay attention closely to oil, right, for this event. But if I look at this on a 4 hour, it's just a 4 hour curl down, right? It's a 4 hour pullback. I don't have major reversals. I had the 2 hour signal here that told me the 4 hour was coming. this 4-hour pullback was coming, I just go, hey, just in case that gap's in the upward direction, we get rid of that. I have a longer out option. I can hold on to that for a bit of time, see this pull down, see it go back up. And then if that can confirm today, I'm feeling pretty good. Exactly, YS. I'm in the same boat. Me and you probably have the same mentality of just like, man, every good signal you see for AMD failed over the last 6 months, like relatively, it was these ones in here that produced, right? The 2-hour in here, I believe. Was it 2-hour? Yeah, 2-hour slight divergence on the RSI. And then the last time we really were talking good about it was all down in here where we were building a lot of liquidity. We finally confirm up. You see one more dip down, but that's the problem with AMD. AMD is the best at confirming a signal, and then seeing another drop without curling down the MACDs. And so this was the last time I traded AMD. I saw like one little pop like this. I started to see any kind of red and I was like, nope, I'm out. I'll take my 60%. I'm done. Bye. No, thank you. But look how it produced over time. It's just, I just don't trust the stock enough. And that is a very important thing as a trader. I think that you can, you probably just do it inadvertently, but you gotta at least trust a stock that you're looking at for these things. Right, we have to trust the fact that even the Qs and things like that, it's like we have to trust this enough to say, hey, if this 30-minute does curl up, the most probable thing is to head up. If I go look at a penny stock and then I say, oh, this 30-minute means that we have to curl up and that just dropped by 10%, it's like, that's something I'm not going to trust as much. I do think AMD is cheap. It's just a confirmed monthly divergence. And we haven't even, and that's the thing. A lot of these stocks that have crashed initially can actually bottom out before the big boys, and the big boys just tear down the market. But I'm not going to trust it. I'm going to wait for a monthly curl up from AMD. It's already crossed down on a monthly, so I can sit. I can watch AMD turn up and be like, all right, cool. I can invest in that if I would like. No, not trading Tesla. No, neither. I'm not trading in any direction. Yeah, it's better to focus on another stock. My perspective on it is it's very bullish. Okay, since there are some people, I know Kalani is doing it, the Tesla things, right? So the thing with Tesla is extremely bullish on a 30-minute, extremely bullish on a 2-hour, extremely bullish on a daily chart, right? So I would be just absolutely silly to say this is going to drop. Now, if it is going to drop really dramatically, let's say Tesla falls through the floor. What do you think that is? That's probably a black swan moment. If not for the whole market, well then for Tesla. Something really bad has to happen to ruin this. Now, you can experience a flush in selling and get that waterfall of selling effect just because, hey, this is up really high. A lot of profit taking with a little bit of bad news can cause that. But I'm talking about if you see this, right, really fast, right? I'm more talking about that. But what I think is the more likely scenario is you're just going to see something like this, you're going to see something like this, and then you're going to go like that. You're going to see something like, hey, we're going to test this area right here, and then you're going to go like that. That is the most likely thing to happen for something that looks this bullish. And it might be that way, safer. A lot of the time when friends, family ask me things, hey, I caught this Tesla run. Should I sell all my Tesla stock? I go, well, do you like the stock? Do you like the company? Do you like the CEO? Do you like the CFO? Do you like this? Do you like that? What do you like about it? Oh, awesome. Do you think it's a beneficial thing to society? Okay, great. So if you just said all those good things about a stock, then why would you necessarily sell all of it? So I always say, hey, if you really like something, hopefully it has a dividend, by the way, but for the most part, if you really like something and you see positivity for that over time, you can always trade half. I always say, hey, if you really want to hold on to something, you can trade half. You think this is going to 500 and then you can sell half of my position and then I can go, okay, this is curling down. Now I can get back into that position. Okay, now I see divergence. Now I have a reason to be a little bit more bearish on the stock for the time being. I love Tesla, but I understand it's going to go through pain. Maybe just to support Tesla, I'll still hold half the stock even through a big drop, right? It's just like, That could be your mentality. My mentality is, ooh, that's a bad signal. I don't give a shit. This guy doesn't give a crap about me. Let's be totally honest about it. Do you think that these companies really care that much about their investors besides the fact that it's money, money, money? Do you think they care about you as a person? Probably not. So I'm just going to say, hey, if that's a bad signal, I'm going to sell all of your stock. That's how I treat it. Exactly. Tesla has the most consistent high implied volatility of any stock that I've ever looked at. Right? I calculate these things every single week. Do you know what stock always has over 60, actually for most of 2024, over 70% implied volatility? It's Tesla. So you're going to see big moves. Right? So you do have to have that mentality of, if you're an investor, you really have to have that mentality like, I really like Tesla. It just curled up on a monthly, so I don't think, if you really look at the monthly chart, we could revert all the way back down to these moving averages, and it would make sense, right? Look where the 9 and look where the 20 are. You could end up back down for a retest of 259.45, a retest. And that could still tell you to hold the stock. If that's able to buy, if that's able to wick off that and you see it go right back up in that month, it can happen. I don't think Tesla will be safe though, just so you're aware. I don't think Tesla will be safe from what is coming in 2025. I do not. Now, I think Tesla still has the opportunity to remain bullish for a long time. We talked about why we're talking seriously about the market January 2025. We're going to talk seriously again about it in March of 2025. And then we're probably going to talk very seriously about it in October of 2025. Those are the 3 times that I'm really aware of right now that seem like the timing would add up to. If the timing changes, well, we're just going to look for those signals. On the weekly scale, does Tesla look bad? No. When was the last time Tesla experienced something bad? Well, it showed something on the weekly scale, right? The first drop, hey, this drop right here, just on the RSI. And it was a triple divergence, right? This drop right here, MACD. RSI from the main point over here. And if you hold it across, ooh, a little bit upward actually, a little bit upward. If you had it on the MACD this time, a little bit worse. It's just paying attention to weakness, right? You can not see them at the same time and still experience major weakness. It's just very likely to see things curl up again if you do not see that weakness. So this ended up curling back up and then just failing. This is when we were seriously paying attention. This is when I was like, yeah, that's going to drop to lower levels. Look at the buy zone. So, but if we're really talking seriously, even on a weekly, this could just go. And that would make sense. 357 would make sense, right? Look where your 9 is. Look where your 20 would catch up to in the next few weeks. You come to this level and you go, oh no, it's burning. Like I'm just trying to think of it very logically, and logically would say this is very, very bullish. Very difficult to short, very bullish. Unless I have a bunch of money, right? Unless I have, because Tesla options are very expensive. Implied volatility is always high. So I'm just saying, if you have a bunch of money, you can take way longer out positions, realize how high up this is, and say, hey, in the next 2 months, we are going to pull back in some way. But it's just very hard to catch the actual top in these. That's why it's hard to do position style anything, really, unless you have the ability to really extend that out. And it costs a lot of money for Tesla because of the implied volatility. Trust me, I've looked. MicroStrategy tops, in your opinion? MicroStrategy, this is what I want to pay attention to. And we're doing exactly what I thought we would do today, honestly, is react down a little bit and then see if we're able to build up. What I'm paying attention to and why I'm paying attention to this very seriously is the daily. Okay, the daily has pulled back to the 20. We're gaining ground, gaining ground, gaining ground. That's great. Higher low, higher low, higher low. If that changes, I want to pay attention. This is looking a little flaggy to me. All right, this is looking like maybe slanted head and shoulders to me. All right. But if this daily can confirm up, that means, hey, take out these levels, go make a new one. That's the most likely thing to happen for MSTR. But as Bitcoin potentially makes its top, which is something I am leaning towards, not overly bearish on Bitcoin, I think it will turn back up, but I think it's going to go through some trouble for a bit. Well, I can pay attention to two things here. If Bitcoin is about to experience a top, and the whole reason that this stock is up is because they bought Bitcoin, nothing to do with the actual business, just they bought Bitcoin, well, then this most likely plays out, right? ABC. And even down here, that could be by the center line still. So what I want to pay attention to is, does the bullish signal happen? Just so you are aware, on the 4 hour, you are confirmed down. You're trying to confirm that again. Starting to wick up. You can always see those upward moves. So my assessment for MSTR is I will not trade it ever. I will never put one dime into this stock. And I will look at TSM in a moment. Yeah, like a leap, Jonathan. But like here, it's just, I'm not going to invest this stock. Why won't I? Because, Matthew, the person who is running this stock and is talking right now a lot. Here, I'll ask you a question, Matthew. What kind of, do you think we are in a bubble of some sort right now? Do you think that, I think that bubble could continue, right? Maybe even all the way until October, but I know to watch out in 2025. Do you think we have some kind of bubble right now? Okay, perfect. Now, do you know what the owner of this company did the last time we saw a big bubble in the year around 2000? Do you know? Just answer honestly. You can say, I don't know. No. So, if you are not aware, the person who owns this stock is Michael Saylor, or owns the, whatever it is. He is Michael Saylor. He's been out lately a lot, pushing it. In the dot-com bubble, there was a company called, I believe, someone might want to double check me, was it Enron? There was a company called Enron. And Enron recently came back, actually, I think, weirdly enough. But Enron was one of the biggest crashes. It was caught in fraudulent behavior in the dot-com bubble. He got caught with fraud and lost tons and tons of investors, millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in 2000. I'm not putting my money anywhere near someone who has done that, especially when they start talking really loudly about Bitcoin because their company is investing in Bitcoin, and we are at the potential for one of the biggest everything bubbles in our human history. Not a fan. Not doing it. Now, all of that sounds really bearish. We're talking about bullish things overall, guys, right? We're talking about bullish things overall in the market. I want to be very clear about that, but I am no. I'm not doing it. And here's the thing. He did it on his current company MicroStrategy. What if it trades below Bitcoin value? What if it trades below Bitcoin value? MSTR will not affect Bitcoin. Bitcoin will affect MSTR. The only way MSTR will affect Bitcoin in any way is if they dump all of their Bitcoin. Yeah, so I'm not, no thank you. No, I'm not doing it. NVIDIA, we actually were talking about this bounce happening and trying to get above 135. We are doing that. RGTI I do like. RGTI I do like, but NVIDIA, you're curling up on a 2 hour suggesting more positivity is there. All right. Sorry, guys. Mama Bear brought me some breakfast. Egg and rice. So I'm not saying he couldn't be doing things differently this time. It's just I'm not someone who wants to be anywhere near that. And if you guys know me and you guys have been here around, you know my story. You know my story when I first tried to start out as a trader when I was somewhere in my very early 20s, and I was like really researching stocks. I was like, I'm going to do the Warren Buffett thing. That's what people say. I did that with a stock and it turned out to be fraudulent, and I lost like all of my money when I was like 20. So I'm not going to, you can see how I easily would not want to be a part of that, you know, based on someone's background. I can't do it. I'm sorry, my fingers, like, my brain and my soul will not allow my fingers to push the buttons to buy MSTR. It genuinely won't. The only way that I could probably manipulate myself to do it is if I start to, you know, try to create the mentality in my head of like, I'm taking his money. Yo, that's weird that you say that because I have spidey senses. Overstating earnings and revenue by SEC. I'm just saying, I'm not. And it's just, it's the timing of him being all over the internet now over the past few months. Like, the timing of it is just, I don't like it. I don't like it. 4.6 billion of Bitcoin and trades at a market cap of 90 billion. Yeah, and so someone actually broke down the market cap and pretty much said if you buy, it was like if you buy into MSTR with the same amount of money that you would buy Bitcoin, then technically you're buying a third of Bitcoin for an elevated price. No, we haven't gone over Amazon. I just wanted to talk about this. I know we've been going back and forth about this, but just know I'm not going to invest in a company that has a fraudulent person that has been caught in fraud very, very dramatically. I'm just not going to do it unless I see some kind of like scalp or something like that. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to invest. That's enough for that. The 2 hour is turning up for NVIDIA. That is a very positive sign. We need the daily to follow through. Yeah, so I'm live every single morning. I'm live every single morning from open for about an hour and a half to 2 hours. Or an hour and a half to 2 hours. The really bullish signal for NVIDIA is to just cross up on the daily. If you can cross up on the daily, you can go positive. You have the chance to, one, create a lower high. You are negative. You have a lot of scenarios that could play out for NVIDIA if this is a big major top in some way. You could see the daily curl up, fail. We could see the daily curl up, retest, turn up into positive territory again, and start a new sequence where we'll have to see similar signals to this, right? We see the obvious signal that told us NVIDIA was falling. The more likely scenario as of right now is we're going to see some kind of failure. The reason for that is weekly momentum is turned down. And until weekly momentum changes back to the upside, can't really head to the upside, right? Bitcoin was only a currency for money laundering. Well, just pay attention when GME and AMC start to really pop and then watch Bitcoin. That's what I would say if you believe that. Then really pay attention to Bitcoin when AMC and GME start to pop like crazy. But yeah, I think the calculation was if you buy, how much is Bitcoin, by the way? Okay, Bitcoin's 104,000. Okay, so if you buy $104,000 worth of MSTR, it's like paying $104,000 for one Bitcoin. Or I think it might have even been paying $104,000, or I'm sorry, it was paying $104,000 for 1/3 of a Bitcoin. So you're better off just trying to buy Bitcoin at that point. And watch if this turns down on the daily. Bitcoin can lead the market, so we'll pay attention to it. Let's go check on the dollar real quick. Ah, the sleeping giant is about to awaken. Okay, wait, someone asked something. MSTZ. Ben, I got you. I saw you mention it a few times. I see the little heart. You're being nice. Rough. Wow, I'm so sorry to say this, but there is nothing I can do with this one. You're going to maybe see a floor here. You're going to finally see, hey, if this goes positive, it's a chance. But that's too rough, man. There's no real good tech. If I did technicals on this, it would maybe convince you in some way to do something, and that's just silly, right? This would be, look at the stock. Wait, what is this? ETF Opportunities Trust T-Rex 2X Inverse MSTR. Inverse MSTR? Okay, wait, now I'm kind of liking this, Ben. Wait, now I'm kind of liking this. And then I'll look at TSM because Sid, I told you I would. Now I'm kind of liking this. I don't know. I'm kind of liking this thing. Now I'm kind of like, oh, now that I read what it was, how much are call options for this? No. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I can't do analysis on this. If you're going to do analysis for this, it is a 2x inverse one, right? So that means I need to do my analysis on MSTR. Maybe go long Bitcoin is short. Well, that's the thing. It's like, why, if its main thing is Bitcoin and Bitcoin is still heading up and MSTR is heading down, would you think, did really bad news come out for the stock that caused it to drop immediately? Did a bunch of people take profit at the same time? Or did they sell a bunch of Bitcoin? I wonder. Did they liquidate to buy more Bitcoin at the tops? See, we will see. Sorry, can't do much with that one. TSM, let's go look at that. We know it's overvalued, so we should expect drops. For TSM, great look. This is a great look. This should make you happy if you're looking at TSM. Wabam, wabam, wabam. That's what that looks very, very nice. That is clean. Great rejection. Fan-freaking-tastic. So you're looking for the 30-minute curl up here, you got it. Now you have to be aware, if that 30-minute turns, that technically is bad. That means you have potential for double top and you might be more in a range. All right? If you start to lose this, you make that series of lower lows, that's a problem. So if this crosses bad, right now, very good. Right now, good. Right? Rejection on the daily, good. Look at this structure too. Left, head, right shoulder. Man, is AMD about to seriously participate here, or are we about to see a rug pull? Like, this would be very interesting. This is such good structure to head up here. Or what are you thinking, Sid? I want to hear your input. I want to hear your input. I want to look at a weekly. Was a weekly turned down? Oh yeah, weekly starting to confirm up too. Now we do have divergence up here. So watch out. This could be brief. This could be a few weeks, like 2, maybe 3 weeks, and then that fails. It could be 1 week. Very, very tight. You could reject here too. So, oh, that's a rough look, man. Like, it looks so good on this, but it's like, oh no, the weekly is really, really rough. Hopefully you get rid of those signals. Hopefully this plays out, you get rid of those weekly signals. That would be the best case scenario for TSM. AMD looking good. How's it producing? I told you, man. I just should have done it. XLV, yeah, we can look at that in a moment. Oh, thank you so much, Justin, for the coffee money. You guys always keep... Actually, I have to go buy coffee after this, so I'm literally going to buy coffee after this. So thank you for the coffee money, genuinely. That is awesome, Justin. Thank you so much. Yeah, AMD, still waiting to see, right? We're still waiting to see. We need that good 2-hour bar above the 5. But, you know, if that's the thing. If you're managing risk, you shouldn't have to manage risk here, right? It's just me. I give up on this bad boy. I'm going to look for a different opportunity. I'm sorry to say it, but I just... it's just frustrated me too much. I've had to manage trades too much for AMD anytime I've traded over the last year. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to chill. I'm fine with watching you guys make money if this thing goes up. I'm down with that, right? So Sid, good luck to you. But this has not curled down, so no management of the trade necessary just yet. Coffee's a daily expense, man. You say that every day you got to buy coffee? Yeah, that's because 2 days ago I had to buy coffee. Then my wife just happened to hide the coffee, and then she was like, okay, but now we actually do need coffee. So that's what she came down and told me was, hey, we got to go to the store. So, and we did just recently have a few young women and a woman with a child get followed. Life's getting, I don't know. I feel like I hear more and more of those stories, so I won't let them go out to places alone. Oh my God. Yeah. Like there were men following people. My mother-in-law, I took her to dinner last night with my sister-in-law and stuff, but she had people followed at her work. She herself got followed home about a month and a half ago. You guys remember when that happened? I think that was like a month or 2 ago. And so there's just a lot of weird, and we don't see that a lot here, by the way. We don't see that kind of behavior here this much. Like I've never, my sister gets followed all the time now. Like people are just following girls around for, I don't know what reason, but I'm not going to allow my family to be affected by that. I don't know, Justin, but tell them to stop it. Alrighty. Now, what was, you guys, I have a little time left, so Justin, I'm going to make sure to get to yours. Thank you so much for the donation to the chat, to the channel. 30-minute, it looks good. Here's the thing, I want you to start to think this a lot of the time when you see this, all right? How far away am I from going positive? Start to think that when you're looking at divergence, because this is fantastic. I see why you're paying attention to it. Good find. Very, very good find from healthcare, right? And one thing you would be good to do for your real life is go, why is healthcare going to go up? Well, we'll see. Now, the 2 hour most likely did confirm. Ooh, still hasn't confirmed yet. Okay, so if that hasn't confirmed, and I do see the 2 hour divergence across, I like that. Does it show up on the daily too? Ooh, this is a great one. I love it. Now, you're still in the beginner stages here of this. Now, I'm only going to say that because the 30-minute has not gone positive and you're still a little far away from the center line, which means always be open to managing risk after a test of the 5, managing risk if you have to, and then looking for that curl up later. But this is very good. You want that really close to the center line, but this is very good. Then the next step, right? The next step I want to do is, okay, now if I get that 30-minute close to the center line, I like this for a base, but I think we have a chance to make it a better one. Now look at the 2 hour. Okay, so if I look at the 2 hour, I'm going, hey, okay, awesome, that has divergence. But once again, how far away am I from the center line? Could this go, oh yeah, oh no, then oh yeah, right? Right? We mentioned it in the course, but I think a lot of people kind of forget about it. Forget about it a little bit, right? We explain it in the divergence section of the course. I highly encourage, if you think that this is different, then go watch the divergence portion, because we explain why divergence means the momentum is slowing and why divergence means we could go easier into a positive trend. So go all in. I'm never going to say go all in. I'm going to say manage risk at all times. If your risk assessment is telling you to go all in, make your decision. If your risk is telling you, hey, I have some good support here, you actually do. If we mark that off, can we find this level as important? Oh, look at this. Breakthrough, use as support, big move. Come down into it after that big move, use as support, go higher. Awesome. Can we go even further? Ooh, we saw one time where we got above it and it wasn't happy. So watch out for reversal signals. If we make a sporadic move past it, reversal signals are there. Awesome, we drop down. Ooh, problem, right? It used to be a big problem area. Now it might be support. Now, what I would pay attention to here is the fact that if I probably pull this out to a weekly, but we'll just do it here. If we drop down to this level and you see a big reaction like this and it starts to fail, all right, this is what I'd really be watching too. But I like this from the daily. This is really saying the weekly might want to turn up here. I like this. And where is the weekly? It's positive. Now, you did have a divergence above you, so that just means be aware of a lower high. And now you can really see left head, potential right shoulder forming. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Oh yeah, Amazon. Dawson, I got you. Dawson, I got you. Sorry. I know there's just a lot of things to get to, and we're talking about a lot of stuff, and I'm having some fun today, but I do have to hop off probably after I look at Amazon, guys, and I'm sorry to say it. Maybe I'll hop on later for Jerome Powell if I have time. So one key thing is this is weakness. This is weakness. This is weakness. This is weakness. But it's not negative yet, man. And it's such a bullish trend that if this 2 hour just turns up, that could be a great thing. Now, you do have a bunch of divergence. So I want to see, hey, is that daily more think about it this way. Is it safer to not risk any money now, realize that this is a bullish trend, see that thing get down like this, maybe test this area here, maybe test a little bit deeper down into this area here at 200, and then curl up into positive territory. Maybe it just goes to here. I think this would be very likely 213 to 22 to 215. Then we just see this. What I'm talking about is the opportunity good right now? Is the opportunity too short confusing? Okay, then how do I clean this up for my brain? Well, if I see this, if I see this, if I see this, if I see this, right? Now, when would I then want to sell the stock, right? Well, it's when I see a signal that could really be like, oh, okay, I would short that signal, so why would I not sell it? All right, once you start to see this, if you see that in January, that's when we'll be really worried about the stock. Just note, these things can drop dramatically with how stocks are right now, but they can pump dramatically where stocks are at right now with how they're moving. So this is why the risk to take a play even up or down is risky, right? In my opinion. All right, it seems up, I gotta be quick with it. Down, we could just buy that thing back up. Very supportive, very bullish market. So what have you noticed me doing? Well, I take a profit earlier when I'm trading an individual stock or an indice or whatever I want to do, but I'm more looking at things like this, right? Why am I, you guys probably have never seen me trade oil. Like I think I've barely traded oil in 2024, but now I'm thinking about it, right? Now I'm thinking about it. Now I made a decision. Now I'm in it. Now I'm following it. It's going positive. This looks like a weekly turn up to me. Look at that, weekly turning up. Weekly turned up last week. Daily divergence is there. Weekly's turning up this week. So I have my levels now, 77.10, 80.52, right? I think we're gonna see one of these little runs for a few weeks. And I'm just hoping this gets to 77.10 and then I can go, thank you for the money. Now I can take my risk out of everything again. I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. Now, do I have potential to go down? Always. So I'm always managing my risk in a trade. I'm just feeling pretty good about this one. I have a curl down with a nice move from the MACD into positive territory. I see that curl down. We're very unlikely to make a divergence here, which means I might be in the first really big push, see that dip back down and get another one, right? But I think that this says, hey, I might be in the very first real big push here. That's why I'm trading things like this though, because I don't trust these individual stocks as much right now. That's why I was like, AMD, I got my oil trade. Let me not be in that anymore, right? Notice that. If this 15-minute rolls for AMD, just be paying attention. You might need to manage risk for a moment, but just know, guys, the ultimate test is going to be this afternoon for stocks. All right, guys, I do have to head out. GME pullback. Yeah, pullback still likely, but good upward moves. Okay, we actually tested 437 for AMC. Unlucky. We are seeing the Qs start to dip down. Now, this is fine. We're looking for that 5 to get tested. So I'm going to leave it here for you guys for now. I do have to get out of here for a bit. I'm going to probably eat my breakfast and then head over to the grocery store. So I do appreciate you guys. Is your plan USO? Yes. Yes, I did USO. And the timing for that play was last Thursday or Friday. I think I did it. So thank you guys so much for watching today. I do appreciate it. Thank you for the donation from Justin. Really appreciate it. And I hope you guys do have a good day. And I will try my best to come live for Jerome Powell. Just, don't hold me to it because I got a lot going on today. The only time I get to spend with my fam today is going to the store right now. So I'm going to go do that for now. Thank you guys for watching. I wish you guys nothing but luck in your trades. But hey, here's the thing. You're in control. Luck doesn't really have too much. You need a little bit of luck, but the most of it is what you are in control of. So control your trade, manage your risk, and you will be just fine. Let's trade like water today, okay, guys? And let's see what these things are doing after the event, and we'll really try to figure out where we can benefit the most from these markets. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Peace out.